Stephen, unless I am, with the exception of Ken Singer, is our second UC grad that we have up here, so congratulations. Not only that, I believe you're a CET grad.
I am, that's correct.
There you go. So, probably one of our younger speakers also. But I want to thank him for coming. It's interesting, we had the question just now about B2B versus B2C, and Stephen, his background at Sunnable is business to consumer, and what's interesting about it is as he was founding PV Solar, I think that was somewhat more focused business to business, and so he's had to make a change. I don't know if you'll talk about that or not, but I appreciate you being with us, and I'll let you take it away. Thank you for your attention, everyone.
Thanks, Vicki. Hello, everybody. Really quick, what is everybody's major? How many are engineers? Engineers? Okay, good. Any business students? Okay. Econ? Couple econ, okay. Good, I just wanted to get an idea of who all is in the audience. My name is Stephen Torres. I am founder and CEO of Sunnable. I'm really excited to be here to share this information with all of you. It's always fun to come back on campus and get to see how things are going. I'm really excited about the football season this year as well. Yeah, that's right, go Bears. I haven't been this excited since I was a student here back in the 04, 07 range. Since I'm talking with a group of future leaders, I'll share a little bit about public speaking. There's always 3 talks that you give. There's the talk that you plan to give, the talk that you give, and the talk that you wish you would have given. So I'm going to try my best as I go through the next 30 or so minutes here to have those last 2 as close as humanly possible. My contact information is up on the board. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions afterwards, feel free to send me an email. One of the greatest things about coming to this great university is the network. I've used it extensively to help myself and my businesses get up and running. And so I strongly encourage you to use your Berkeley network. It is amazing, and you'll get a lot of good things out of it. Let me go over the agenda for today. I'm going to share a little bit with you of my background, just to give you the context that I'm coming from. Then I'm going to give you some really good tips. 7 steps to a sale for entrepreneurs. This is very valuable information. It's helped me immensely over my career, and I'm really hoping it's something that each of you are going to benefit from as well. Then I'll do a quick little wrap-up, and time permitting, we'll open up for some questions and answers. Okay, sound good? After break. Okay. Sound good? Yeah, okay. All right, that's a little better. All right, so let's get started. I'll start with my background. Obviously, I am a grad here of Cal, go Bears. I actually started as an econ major. How many other econ majors are out there? I am so sorry. That was the most boring major ever. So I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur because I did the pivot. All right, you know what the pivot is when you change majors. I actually ended up transferring into interdisciplinary studies so that I could take classes from everywhere. I actually, most of my core classes came from Haas undergrad, industrial engineering, and then American history. So it was kind of an amalgamation. I actually started, my honors thesis was on followership, or the traits and characteristics of people that followed great leaders. Then again, I pivoted into something sports related. So again, entrepreneur. From there, my MBA, got my MBA at the Johnson School at Cornell. It was pretty easy. I did general management, so I didn't have to pivot midway through, but that was really amazing as well. And in fact, that's where I started my first business. I'll give you a little bit of my background, my work history. I actually started in consumer products, selling knives. Any knife salesmen in here? Anybody sold Cutco? No one. Okay, wow, that's kind of amazing. I sold Cutco cutlery. This was a very interesting experience, probably the best training ground I have ever had, because you were talking with consumers day in, day out, hearing their needs, handling objections, really got to understand consumers, got into management, was pretty fortunate that I had some great mentors, had an opportunity to get into management. I was the youngest branch manager, youngest district manager. Was very fortunate. Was also the first district manager ever inducted into their Hall of Fame, which is kind of interesting. From consumer products, I got into software as a service. I had that tech bug. And this was very interesting. This is, I guess about 7 or so years ago, got into software as a service. It was actually before software as a service was cool. Like there was only one big company in software as a service at that time. It was Salesforce.com. And I was selling performance and talent management software. Anybody know what that is? It's performance reviews, okay? But as a service. We sold it online. What was really interesting about this was that I had the opportunity to sell into large, corporate accounts with different stakeholders from HR, finance, C-level, and you had to bring it all together for them to basically take their paper-driven process online. Very, very unique opportunity. Started there. You always know your low man on the totem pole by where you start off as a territory that's assigned to you. I started in the great San Antonio, Texas. Now, what's interesting about San Antonio, Texas is it is not the most tech-savvy software as a service place that you possibly would want to sell into. But what was interesting is that I was able to actually get some sales. We landed, I think it was the largest healthcare network in Texas, a couple other really good accounts, and then you get promoted, and this is the best part, you get promoted to better areas. I got Southern California. I was able to bring on a utility, an electrical utility actually, and my best account, my favorite account, was the National Academy of Recording Artists. And they put on the Grammy Awards. So whenever you see the Grammy Awards, the people that work there, they use our software to actually do their performance reviews. So that was kind of fun. As the economy was kind of spiraling, I decided to transition into renewables. And I started as director of sales and marketing for a solar company, actually in Concord. It was, if any of you are familiar with SunPower, they're the largest U.S.-based panel manufacturer. Got an opportunity to work for their very first dealer here in the United States, selling to both consumers and to businesses. So it's kind of a hybrid. First stop, consumers. Second stop, B2B. Third stop was the kind of hybrid. Then, of course, went and got my MBA. During my MBA, I started a class very similar to what you guys are going through. It's called New Venture Management. And the idea of this class is you actually put together a business plan. Have any of you started a class like this yet? None? How many of you would plan on taking a class similar where you put together a business plan? Okay, a few of you. I got an opportunity to do that, put together this business plan for a data and analytics company focused on the solar industry. It was horrible. And the reason I say it was horrible is because I pitched the idea. You have to pitch the idea to some advisors. And they said that it was a horrible idea. They gave me an A for my presentation. But the idea of data and analytics for solar was a big thumbs down. In fact, I got a C, I think it was a C+ for the idea. And this was really, it was kind of, I was pissed, honestly. I was really pissed. And so I decided, F them. I was going to try it anyway, and I said, I'll start a beta of the product and see if it actually works. Now, you have to understand the context. This was back in 2011, and a huge solar company here in Fremont, Solyndra, had just went under. There was all of this speculation about trade wars with China for solar panels because, they were dumping them. And so their framework at the time, what they were thinking is solar is dying. It's dead. It's not going to go anywhere. I had a different opinion. And so I went out and I started this business plan, and I actually recruited a friend of mine who was looking for a job at the time. His name was Sander. And I'll never forget my sales pitch to him. I was like, Sander, I can't pay you anything. And I promise I will work you harder than you've ever worked. I will pay you nothing. I will give you not enough time to accomplish anything. But if you come and do this with me, I promise you'll get your dream job. And he's like, what? How is this good for me? I was like, no. I promise you will get your dream job if you come and help me out. And holy cow, it was my biggest sale, and he did it. He helped me out. He got my thing up and put everything together for our product at the time, which was a daily executive brief that we sold a subscription basis, and it was very exciting. Of course, now it's been 3 years, and he has his dream job. He's been at Dropbox now for 3 years. So it was really, really fun being part of that startup. And by the way, we are hiring at Sunnable, so if any of you are looking, for cool gigs, come and see me afterwards. We'll get you your dream job afterwards also. But startup life and being an entrepreneur is very interesting. So since I started this in business school, I was able to use all of the skills that I picked up along the way as far as sales and sales experience. And so this is where I really get into how do you make sales. And to get into how do you make sales or how do you get sales to happen, I want to talk a little bit about what sales is. Because a lot of people have a really bad idea of what sales is. In fact, this is not sales. Okay, being pushy, having a crappy product that you're trying to force on someone, trying to sell something that people don't need, that is not sales. What sales is communication. Okay, sales is the ability to share ideas with someone in a very simplistic way that are positive so that they can see your point of view and then they act. That's what selling is. Sharing ideas with someone that influence them in a positive way so that they see your point of view and act. And selling is something that everybody does. As a founder and a CEO, you will be selling. If you want to go out and get a job, guess what? You're selling. What are you selling? Yourself. All right, you want to get a date? That's a big sales job. And you'll find out that there are some people that are better than others at that sales job. Okay, you ever see some really ugly people with really good looking people? It's a great salesperson right there. Okay? But that is just the way that it goes. And so I'm going to share with you a concept about sales and as you start your careers or as you have sales teams that work for you in the future, a really important rule about sales and the salespeople that you bring on. What I call the 20-60-20 rule. Now, there's one key assumption with this rule. My key assumption is that your product is going to rock. You have a really good product. That's a huge assumption, okay? You have the best, mobile optimized software as a service platform, whatever it happens to be, but it's a really good product. And what this rule says is that 20% of the people that you show your product to, if it's a good product, again, big assumption, will always buy. They will always buy your product because it's good. They like it, they use it, they need it, it fulfills a role, a want, a need, what have you. 20% of the people will always purchase. On the other end of the spectrum, there's 20% of the people that will never buy. It's important to understand this. No matter what you do, no matter how good a salesperson you are, no matter how good your pitch is if you're raising money, 20% of the people that you show will not purchase. They will not move forward for whatever reason. There's also, though, 60% of the people in the middle. And these folks can go either way. They could be buyers, they could not buy. This 60% really depends on you. It depends on your ability to communicate, your sales skills and how you are selling and working with that customer. 20, 60, 20. Now, if you have a great salesperson and they're closing 50, 60% of their accounts, well, they're probably getting this 20%, right? And they're getting some of these 60%. But realize there's more on the table. You may even have some people that get 80%. Those, they're getting pretty much everyone. It's very rare you're going to come across a 100%er. If you do come across what that is, it's segmenting. They've realized how to get rid of all those people, so they're only showing this 80%. I'm not going to get into that. That's a completely different talk. But it's important that you understand how these percentages work and what you should expect as a founder. This is also important when you're going out pitching your idea to people. Right? 20% of the people are going to hate it. Right? Data and analytics for the solar industry, hate it. 20% are like, hey, that's really cool. 60% really depends on me. Same for you. I made it a graph. So here is the sales graph. Time across the bottom, x-axis. Y-axis is enthusiasm of your consumer, your prospect, your investor, whatever happens to be. And what you're trying to do is over time get their enthusiasm above 100%. That's where the sale is made. All right. Now, if you have a really kick-ass product, you're going to get, you show them the product and they're like, whoa, I'm buying. Oops, sorry. That was too loud. Apologize. They're buying, right? They love it. All right. Some people it takes a little longer. Some people, like as this one that you get, to 2 and then they're like, and then you got to get them back up and then they, and you get them up there, and then they're really close at the end, and you just got to get them up, okay, over the sales line. But it's important that you understand how this works and what you're actually trying to accomplish through your sales process, through your sales cycle with your prospect, and so forth. So let me show you then the 7 steps to a sale. They're pretty simple. The first is build rapport. Identify a problem. You heard that from the previous speaker. The second one here, present the solution. Create value. Handle objections, and ask for referrals. So let me go over these. The first one is build rapport. What is rapport? Anybody how would you describe rapport? Anyone? I will call on someone. How would you describe rapport?
We've got a lady in the back.
Oh, yes.
Getting in the door, trying to get them familiar and comfortable.
Perfect. Familiarity and comfort. That is rapport. Okay? Rapport is all about making sure that that prospect, that investor, whomever it is comfortable with you. It's finding a common ground. Now, rapport cannot be forced. Rapport happens naturally. And so how do you build rapport? Oh, sorry. So how do you build rapport? You ask questions. Okay? And it's very simple. The common ground, in math they call it the lowest common denominator. Where are you from? How long have you worked at this company? If you're doing business-to-business sales. Some of that major. What you will find is that people love to talk. And they love to talk about themselves. So what you want is you want your prospect or you want your investor, you want them to talk about themselves. Again, it can't be forced. It has to be very natural. But let them keep talking. Oh, I've been at this company for this long. I've done this. Oh, really? Tell me more. How do you like it? Oh, wow, this is great. That's very interesting. And really let them go. And listen, by the way, because some of that information you could use later on in the process, the selling process. And then what happens is after you get, there will be a natural break. And at that natural break in the conversation, that's where you simply say, oh, okay, great, well, let's go ahead and get started. And then you can get into your presentation or your pitch or whatever happens. But building rapport, very much like this commonality, is extremely important. People, again, buy from people that they trust. And so what you want to do in building rapport is establish that relationship of trust. The second step, identify the problem. Identify the problem. How do you identify problems? Well, you ask questions. This is extremely important, asking questions. So tell me, the software that you're currently using, how does that affect things? How does that affect your morale? Okay, when I was software as a service. Oh, really? Interesting. Okay, how does this affect your revenue? How does this affect, your employees' efficiency? Asking all of these questions are going to give you the information so that you can dive into the problems. When did you first notice this? Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Something you guys have been thinking about for a while, right? And you're taking mental notes. But you want to identify these problems because as you identify these problems, you can start creating metrics. Oh, really? You guys are losing about 30% of your time collecting all of these performance reviews. Wow, that's a lot of time. Right? And these right here, these problems are something you do, or you take next to present the solutions. Here's a really important concept when presenting solutions. If you say it, if you tell the customer something as a salesperson, it's debatable. It's your opinion. If they say it, it's fact. Okay? What do I mean? Here's what I mean. So let's say you are talking about software. I'll use that because we have so many engineers in the room. You're talking about software, and you show it to them. Rather than saying, you could use this like this, it's much better to say, so how do you think you would use this? You see, because if you say you would use it like this, they can debate you. Right? Well, no, we wouldn't use it that way. But if they say, you know what, I could see us using it like this, what are they going to debate themselves? No. Right? So you want to make sure that you're continuing to present in a way these solutions as questions so that they're saying it. They're saying, wow, this is really good. Wow, this would save a lot of time. Interesting. How would we measure that? You said you guys are losing about 30% efficiency. That sounds like it would be, that would save you a lot of money. About how much? Well, now you've solved the problem, right? That's what's really important, is you're solving the problems. Next step, build value. Build value. Building value is really about explaining your value proposition. And this is where you use numbers to justify things. One of the easiest ways is to do a price comparison. And that is simply where if there is a competitor in your particular market, you tell them how much the competitor would charge for that specific product. If it's a solar system, for example, you're at a commercial project, you're looking at a 28 kW system. I know I've seen, in some of the data that a system like this from the other company you're talking to typically runs around $170,000. But what's really nice is their modules that they're using are really quality, this and this, and you build up your price competitor or price comparison, and then you give your price with your even better product or software or whatever it happens to be, and they're like, wow, this is a really good deal, or this is a really good value. You can also use the numbers and times of savings. As far as, I use the software one because software as a service is really simple when you can automate a process through software, and you realize that 30% efficiency goes out the door. Well, that's real money. Those are real hours that you're saving with software. So you can actually say, wow, that's about $250,000 that you're saving just by automating this process. That's a pretty significant savings. Obviously, cash savings, those all work too. When you're, right now, we're also in raising money, and valuations are something that's really important. One of the things that I found for a couple of investors, it was just simply the fact of saying, hey, does this valuation, does it seem reasonable? well, one was like, what are you talking about? No, I don't want to. Anyway, won't get into that. But pretty much everybody else has been, yeah, that's very reasonable. And that's what you want because you're building your value proposition. Step 5, AFTO. Ask for the order. This is where I would say 75 to 80% of the salespeople, CEOs, entrepreneurs F up. They really mess up here is they never ask people to buy, people to invest. You have to ask for the order. And you have to ask with confidence. If you've just spent 2 weeks presenting all of the software to the CEO, to the CFO, to head of HR, you've gone through all of these meetings, all of these pitches, all of them, and then you get to the very end and you never ask for the order, it's almost an insult. So you have to ask. You have to ask people to buy. You have to close the deal and ask for the order. And the way that you ask is extremely important. See, some people, they get really sheepish towards the end, and they present everything and they say, it's $180,000. Would you like to get it? Maybe, possibly. That doesn't work, right? It has to be, that's only $180,000, so we want to go ahead and get this started. You have to ask with confidence. Now, I know for people that don't have a lot of experience, especially in sales, confidence sometimes is lacking. And so I want to share with you a little story about confidence, and it's something that every single one of you should be extremely confident about. And next time you're out somewhere and you're lacking confidence, I want you to think about this story that I'm about to share with you. And when I do share this story, I do need to let you know that in every audience, there's a group of people that will get offended about a particular topic. Okay, if you want to be part of that group of people, this story is where you can be offended. But I think all of you know how we all as human beings started out as people. We all started as a really tiny egg and a really, really tiny sperm. And even if your father only had an average sperm count of 320 million per discharge, I want you to understand at some point in your life, you were in a huge competition. And you were in a competition with 320 million other individuals. Anybody in here can't swim? Okay, at one time you were, I guarantee it. Okay, your little tail was a wiggling. You were like, out of my way, I'm going, I'm off. Gotta get there, quick. So at any point, if you ever doubt your confidence, if someone tells you you can't do something, you're not good enough, I don't know, I want you to look them in the eye and you tell them, hey, buddy, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I outswam 320 million people to get here, so back off. And I did it uphill. So there you go. So you have to ask for the order with extreme confidence. Step 6, handle objections. Handling objections, this is what really separates a lot of really good salespeople from a lot of not so good salespeople, is their ability to handle the objection. And what is an objection? Well, an objection is anything other than I'll take it or can I pay cash? Okay, anything other than that, let's call it an objection. Boy, I really like it, but that's an objection. Okay? Ooh, this is really good, I need to wait. That's an objection. So the way that you handle an objection is going to help you close the sale. Objections, though, are good. Okay, in fact, it is far worse if you ask for the order and you get a nope. and dead silence. That's bad. What's really good is if you ask for the order and they say, well, I really like it, but that's really good. Okay, because what they're doing, what a customer, what a prospect is doing, is they're sharing with you exactly what you need to address for them to buy. Very, very good problem. So you need to handle the objection. And the easiest way to do this, by the way, there are 3 basic objections. Okay, you'll get this no matter what industry. There are some nuances here and there, but there are 3 primary objections that people get. One is the money or budget issue. I can't afford it. Right? That's the first one. The second one is use issues. I really like it, but I'm not sure if I would use it. Okay, that's the second. The third is time issues. Not right now, or I need to wait. Next quarter is better because I have more budget. Okay, those are the 3 primary objections, price or money, use, and time. So I'm going to share with you how to handle objections. Now, what I share with you right now, it's pretty powerful, and it works in all types of situations. Okay, I'm going to use kind of a more humorous one so that you really understand it and get it. But let's say you ask that special someone out for a date, and boom, objection. I really like you, but no. Okay, you're going nowhere. Okay, I've heard them all. But whatever happened is, let me share with you the objection cycle. First step to handling objection is listening. You want to listen and just let the person speak. Let them talk everything that they can. You're listening at this point, by the way, is you listen with the intent to understand, not the intent to respond. Very important. I would go out with you, but, I just don't know. You're 2 years young. Whatever it happens to be. I don't know, whatever the objection is. Just listen. Oh, okay. Listening. And then finally, once they've said their piece, step 2 is acknowledge. I totally understand. Okay? So you acknowledge. And you repeat what they said in your own words. I totally understand, you don't think I'm going anywhere. I'm majoring in econ instead of engineering, whatever it happens to be. Or engineering instead of econ, I don't know. However it works. Step 3, ask yes questions. But, you say you really, you want someone who cares about you, right? Yes. Okay. And you want someone who's going to treat you right? Right? Yes. And you want someone who has a lot of earning potential, right? Yeah. That's why I'm an engineer, right? Or wish I was an engineer. Whatever it has to be, you ask yes questions. The next step is you clarify. You ask the specific questions. And so the only reason then you won't go out with me is because, I have funky hair. Yeah, basically. Here's the key with the clarification. Now, we may not be able to solve my funky hair right now, but if that went away, if it looked better, would you go out with me? See, that's how you clarify. You get down to what the thing is. And then lastly, is you solve and ask for the order again. I'll tell you what, I'll wear a baseball cap, so let's go out tomorrow night. See? That's how it works. And then you can repeat the cycle until you make the sale. Again, make sure you ask for the order. Step 7 is ask for referrals. This is key. Most salespeople, and I don't understand it, most people don't ask for referrals. You have to ask for referrals. We just shipped our product, our prototype actually, for Sunnable. It's been a couple weeks now. We got our first customer the first week it was out there. Great customer, by the way, just awesome, ideal. Ask for referrals. We already have 3 other customers now in the pipeline from the first customer. Okay. How much more marketing spend did we have to do? 0. It's free business. It's free revenue. So ask for referrals. Okay, and this is, when you're on the date, oh, can you bring a friend? No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. Joke. Some of you bad people. But, as a salesperson, the pipeline is what's extremely important for your sales staff in the future. So those are the 7 steps to a sale. Build rapport, identify the problem, present the solution, create value, ask for the order, handle objections, and ask for referrals. I want to wrap up by sharing something with you. And I think it's extremely valuable. It's something that someone shared with me, a mentor shared with me many years ago. And so I want to share it with you right now. And it's basically what I think can help make the difference between success and failure. And that's what is called the 4 ifs that make life worthwhile. The 4 ifs that make life worthwhile. The first if is if you learn. You have to learn. You are here in the greatest academic institution on the planet. Make sure you learn. Take every class, go to every lecture. I was very fortunate. I got a chance to see speakers like Paul Otellini from Intel, Paul Jacobs from Qualcomm. Just some amazing. Al Gore was on campus when I was here. Just some amazing, amazing things. Learn. Pick up the skills. Now, you may not need all the skills that you learn here, but it's easier to learn them while you're here than to try and get them later. So you got to learn. There is nothing worse in this day and age than being stupid. Okay? You can't be unless you're, if you're ugly, that could probably be worse than being stupid. Or broke, I guess worse would be like if you're all 3, broke, ugly, stupid. Anyway, just don't do that, okay? You have to learn. The second if is if you try. You have to try. As entrepreneurs, try it. I always think back, boy, what if I didn't get pissed and try and just do a beta in spite of the people that gave me those grades? I wouldn't be here. So you have to try. It's really important. When the book is closed on you in this life, let it show your wins, let it show your losses, but don't let it show that you didn't try. Third if is if you stay. If you stay. See things through. I'll tell you, as an entrepreneur, there are times where you are so high, you are like flying into the office. You're on top of the world. You just got, a check came in from an investor. You're like, yes! But there are lows too. Okay, there are lows that are really low. All right, sometimes they're so low that you don't have to open the door to the office. You can just squeeze right under it. That's how low you are. Okay. But you have to stay. You don't have to stay forever, but see the project through. See whatever you're doing, see it through. The last if is if you care. If you care. In my opinion, if you care a little, you're going to get great results. If you care a lot, you'll get outstanding results. So make sure you care. You can't not care. You have to care. You have to have things have meaning for you. So make sure you care. All right, I finished with almost 5 minutes of question and answer time. That was pretty good. So I guess we'll start. Any questions? Go for it. Yeah, I can't see your name tag.
Hey. Hello. Thank you for your talk. Very funny and inspiring. I just had a question. On yesterday, we had a lady come in. Her name was Diane, and one of her first questions when she came to the Bay Area was like, "Why are there no solar panels on sunroofs?" So I was just wondering if you knew anything about that issue. Yeah,
we have a lot of roofs to go. Yeah. So that's actually a good problem for my business because we're selling solar panels. So why are there no solar panels
in San Francisco rooftops? Yeah. There
are, but not enough. Mm-hmm. So there are some. Solar penetration right now is approximately 1%. So there is a long, long way to go. The biggest hindrance of solar has been the cost, the upfront cost. that has dramatically reduced. In fact, we're seeing right now at Sunnable, we're seeing installers in the residential segment being able to install systems at a price that's lower than grid utility power. Now, you think about what that means in the future for solar. When solar panel electricity is less than grid utility. It's going to be amazing. Cool. Any other questions?
Good luck.
No other questions? Yeah.
Have you spoken to your early doubters?
You know, when my company was written about in the New York Times, I almost sent them the article. I chose not to because I thought that would be kind of a dick thing to do. But, no, I haven't. It would be fun, though. I've thought about it, but I'll just, let it go. Sometimes you got to be the bigger person. Cool. Any other questions? Yes.
So during these moments of low, how do you encourage yourself? How do you keep going? Can you give us any advice?
During moments of low, how do you keep going? I'll tell you, I think a lot of it is, I go back on sales, right? 20% of people don't buy. So it's really easy to say, well, whatever happens because they were that 20%, and so I have to focus on something else. I think the other thing is, it really is a matter of conditioning yourself to say, this is only temporary. My philosophy is that everything in life is temporary. Even life itself, if you really think about it, to get philosophical, here's my inner Berkeley coming out, right? If you really think about it, life itself is a temporary state. So whatever happens or whatever's happening right now, it's not going to last. Something's going to happen, something's going to persist. So as long as I continue to look forward, I know things will get better. I hope that helps. I don't know if that's inspiring. Any other questions? Yes.
Several of the other talks have talked about the importance of a strong team, but it seems like sales is more of an individual kind of basis. So can you talk a little bit to how crucial or not a team was for you and how you may have utilized partners?
Yeah, it is. I hope I didn't give the idea that sales is an individual cowboy type thing, because it's not. Starting my company, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Sander, right? He was the engineer guy that helped me get everything up and running. So without him, I'm nothing. So the team is probably the most important part of whatever you're doing. Teams accomplish tremendously more. They do better things, better products, better sales. Even selling is a team sport. I didn't go into it because of time constraints, but we used to have a saying that friends don't let salespeople sell alone. You always want to have 2 or 3 people on your sales team. So yeah, it's extremely important. And, I'll give you some little extra here, how to build a winning team. This is something that's I don't think you could do it without these 4 things, is recruiting talented people, right? That's your first step. Recruit talented people. The more talent, the better your team is typically going to be. Step 2 is give the team a system that works. You have to have some type of system. Look at football, right? If you have a crappy system, we get 3 and 9. Hopefully with a better system, we get better results. But same thing is true with the sales team. Step 3 is you want to build up the talent. And building up the talent is really all about focusing on people's strengths. A lot of times people always say, well, whatever your weaknesses are, go and study and get better. And I think that's true to some extent. But it is far better, and this is probably, maybe people in education may not buy this, but it is far better to work on your strengths and develop those than to try and compensate your weaknesses. Because things that you aren't good at, you might get incrementally better, but you can't take it to the next level. So focus on your strengths, build on strengths. And the last thing is establishing a belief in winning. If you have a belief in winning, your team can accomplish anything. So again, recruit talented people, give the team a system that works, build up team strengths, and establish a belief in winning. That's really, if there is one key to success, those 4 points. Cool. Anything else? I'm not out of time, so nothing else? All right, perfect. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.